Hi, Jeff West with a sales tip for you today. Traditional sales training says you should never make a sales presentation, a term that I really don't care for. I much prefer sales conversation. So traditional training says you should never have a sales conversation with someone who cannot make the final decision. And in many cases, I'm sure that's exactly correct. However, in the business-to-business sales environment of employee benefits that I worked in for decades, I often found that I was needing to have a sales conversation with a decision influencer, someone who couldn't necessarily say yes, but they could most certainly say no. So I found a way to work with that and actually close them that became very effective, and I thought I would share this with you today. By the way, Bob Burg and I teach this in our book, Streetwise to Saleswise, Become Objection Proof and Beat the Sales Blues. But this is a three-step process basically like this. Number one, take them off the hook. Number two, give them a promotion. And then number three, go to work for them. First step, taking them off the hook. When you've already had your rapport section, your discovery section, you've made your recommendations, and you've offered social proof, that's the time you would normally be trying to close the sale. In this case, look at your decision influencer and say, you know what, I understand that you can't make the final decision today. I understand your process. But I'd like to ask you a question anyway, if that's okay, and I want you to feel completely comfortable telling me no if that's the right decision for you. Of course, they'll say yes. And then at that point, I want you to play with them a little bit. Say, okay, I'm giving you a promotion. You now own the company. And laugh about it and say, but don't get too excited because, imaginary promotions come with imaginary pay raises too. It won't work. And laugh and say, but I do want to ask you a question. If the final decision were yours and yours alone, do you see any reason we wouldn't move forward with this? If they have an objection they haven't expressed to you, it's going to come out at that point. And then when they say, well, no, I think that we would be doing this. Now, step three is to go to work for them. Say, well, what I would like to do then is go to work for you. Rather than you having to learn everything I just went over with you and answer any questions that you may or may not know the answer to, why don't we do this? Let's schedule a time where the final decision maker is involved, and I'll come in, I'll do everything with that person just like I did with you, and then I'll even leave the room if you want me to, after answering any questions, of course, that you may have, and you guys can discuss it, and together you can make the decision to move forward without me in the room. Does that sound like a fair thing? They'll say yes in most cases, and then see if you can get your meeting on the calendar. What I found is when I did that, rather than leaving the process in limbo, it actually worked pretty close to the normal close that I would do. So anyway, that's enough for today. I love you guys. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in our next email. Bye-bye.